This is a better book than Twilight because actually it's more real. It's more real about love. It's a bit sad at the end. If you've ever seen the film's great. I love the film. Read it. If you've never read it, it's Nicholas Sparks. It's a good chick novel. And then I moved on to Memoirs of a Geisha. Also loved the film, watched the film first before I read the book. This is a good book actually. There's a lot of differences in the film. Well, there's a few differences. It's really nice. It's a really nice book, I think. It's a bit sad in the end, because obviously, you know it's not going to end well. I mean, she is like a Japanese prostitute. No, I know the difference. You don't go on your high horses. Then I read Geisha by Liz Dalby, which is an anthological report telling you about her experience. She was one of the only Western women to actually become a geisha, a real geisha, and she succeeded in it. And this is her story basically. And so she went out there to do it as an anthological report, and ended up, really loving, that. Then I went on to The Picture of Dorian Grey. I love this book. This is a great book. And I bought a really cheap copy. This is like £2, but it's recyclable, so always good. And I always like books that you can tatter, because actually, a book that you want to protect is kind of, it's a bit crappy reading a book that you're just like, don't bend the pages. Oh, but actually a book that you can just be like, it's all good. But this is a good book. Read it. Picture of Dorian Gray. It's a Oscar Wilde classic. It's always good. Read a classic, educate the mind. Then I read Puck of Pooks Hill. The only reason I actually got this book was because it has my name in the title, Pookies Adventures. So I had to get it and read it, and it's cute. It's kind of a lot of little short stories about a pixie, and it's a kind of Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream. Meets these two children, and they do a load of adventure type stuff, which is quite fun. I really love that. It's a good book. And then I went on to Michelle Pavers. I said that really Norfolkian. I'm not Norfolk. I will not say beautiful and things like that. The Chronicles of Ancient and Dark. Now this is 3 books in one, this one. And then she went on for 2 others. And I've only actually got these 3 because my sisters own the others. And they have signed copies. And the reason why I read these was because I've actually met Michelle Paver, and I felt really, really bad for not reading her books when I met her, because I hadn't read them. My sisters had read them. And so I was just like, when she's like, she strikes up a conversation with me, I'm like, I haven't actually read your books. Awkward. So yeah, these are good books. I'd love to meet her again to actually talk to her about her books, because they're really good. Love them to be made into a film. I think if they did, I would like a good director and not somebody who's going to fuck it up. So hopefully, these are good books. Read them out. They're teenage books, but if you're not a Twilight fan, if you're not into the whole Twilight scene, then definitely check these out, because these are better than Twilight. And I think this whole thing of sparkly vampires, it's the end of the world as we know it. I went on to I Am Legend. This is a very different book from the films. Now, I Am Legend, which is the one with Will Smith in, isn't like this book. And The Omega Man, which has got Charlton Heston, which I do recommend that you watch. I know that everybody's like, oh, it's an old movie. Fucking watch it! Yes! Watch the film! Okay, so, I Am Legend, great book, although ends kind of sadly, and if you cried at the dog scene, which my sister did, yes, she cried, she blubbered like a baby, when he dies, when the dog dies, and basically you will cry even more at this, because the way the dog is interpreted, the way the dog story actually plays out in the book is so sad and so different from the film that you'll be crying for days. So definitely read this, because it's different from the films, and it's not like reading a book that is just literally like the film, because actually this is very different from the films, both of them in fact, and neither one portray it strictly as the same. Richard Matheson, who wrote this, very good. Okay, moving on to my favourite novelist, Kathy Reichs. Is an amazing author. I love her because she doesn't dumb down her anthropological knowledge. She, she'll literally be like pulling back the orbital ridge of somebody's face to see their eyeball or something. She uses big words. She doesn't dumb things down. They're intense. Death de Jour, which was the last one that I read. I've read 2 others of her books, and I have 2 more to read of her collection. Obviously I'm working on getting all of them. She's my favourite author by far. If you've ever seen Bones, the series, very good series, but different from the books. It's not the same. So if you do read the books, don't pull your hair out about the fact that they're different, because you really can't link them, but you kind of have to just accept it and move on with them being separate entities, but it's really good. I really love the books, and she's great. She'll have you on the edge of your seat. Then I read Spartan. Yeah, you ruined that then. I was trying to announce a book. Yeah, okay. Spartan, which is a novel by a very long name and I can't pronounce. Valerio Massimo Manfredi. Yeah. If you know how to pronounce that, shut the fuck up. So this is a good book. I really like this. I'm just going to be like, this is a good book, this is a good book, this is a good book. I didn't like some of the books that I've read, but this is. I generally stop after 50 pages of a book that you don't like. You generally just stop. But this is. I really enjoyed this. Although it ends, it's like up until the end. It like ends with this. It's like it could be a historical novel, and then right up until the end, when the main character basically turns into a wolf and runs off, and you're just like, what the fuck? Did we just go from factual to fictional really horrendously? It's like mythical creatures after such a historical type book. It was very bizarre, but I did like it. I did like it very much. This is a picture of the guy. I don't know why I showed you that. And then I moved on to The Story of My Life by Hellen Keller. If you don't know who Hellen Keller is, you probably have heard people like Shane Dawson make really funny, well, to me, funny jokes of Hellen Keller puppets. And she was a deaf and blind woman who she caught an illness and was struck deaf and blind, and later on in her life her vocal cords kind of gave out so she couldn't speak. But this is up into her university years, and the story of how she really learnt how to, communicate with everybody, and she went on to be a great woman, who did so much for the world, and really changing the perspective on whether people who are deaf and blind, whether they were dumb or not, I think it's called, the film, if you ever get the chance to watch the film, I think it's called The Miracle Maker. That's a really great film, and if you can stand Technicolor and black and white films, which you should because some of them are great, please go watch Hellen Keller, because it is a great film. It's a great film. And education, people, you need your education. And I'm currently reading a bit of comedy for you. Tony Hawk's Round Island with a Fridge. No, this isn't The Skater. This is a random comedian guy who, I don't know, I've never really heard of him before. All I've really heard of is his books. And it's a really old book. Funny moments in this book. And so it's really worth the read. And I'll read you give you a taster. Look. I'm not by nature a betting man. However, the pages that follow in this book do not bear testimony to that. In fact, they exist wholly as the result of a bet. I'm not by nature a drinking man. However, the making of the bet which led to this book does not bear testimony to that, because I made it when I was pissed. Everything you read from this moment forth is a tribute to what can be achieved as a result of a shabby night of booze, because that's how we roll. Smack a bitch. Yeah.